All right, so let's talk all things weather with Carrie Jones from the National Weather Service and Chuck Maxwell from the Southwest Coordination Center. And Chuck really talks a lot about fire as well. So Chuck, let's start there with fires. We get this thing going. You've tracked a lot of these fires. We've seen a lot of the fires explode here over the past month or so. What are you thinking over the next month? What are your big concerns?
You know, our big concerns right now, being in the heat of the summer with the drought conditions we have, are new fires and anything which would make them worse. So hot, dry, windy conditions, lightning, or any kind of human ignitions which would cause new fires we have to fight. We've been kind of lucky so far. Our fire activity now, we mainly have a couple large fires we're managing. Any new fires would be problematic.
Okay, so as we head in toward monsoon season, Carrie, that usually starts to tail off and end the fire season here. Everybody asks, and I'm sure you guys get this too, you walk out in the street, what's going to happen during monsoon season? Do you have any feel on what we're looking at?
Well, there's so much variability, Mark, in terms of just the precipitation, even in a normal monsoon.
Right.
And so it's very difficult. But certainly our thinking is this year it's going to be at least better than last year.
Right.
And as John said, you know, those 10 or 12 weeks during the core of that monsoon season is critical for us. I mean, here in Albuquerque alone, it's about 45% of our annual precipitation,
Yeah,
so it's a big deal.
That's a huge number, no question. Chuck, you've looked at this a little bit, I know, and that is looking at going into an El Nino and what happens to monsoon season. Is there a direct correlation? That's kind of a tough connection to make, isn't it?
It's a very tough connection to make. One of the things we're concerned about is with the El Nino potentially kicking in, getting some more storms coming in off the Pacific, which would bring more of the westerly wind flow, which might keep some of the Gulf moisture at bay and disrupt the whole monsoon setup. If Arizona ends up cool later in June, and we have westerly winds keeping the Gulf moisture at bay, that may kind of disrupt the monsoon and make it weaker or make it start later.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into this, but for us, if you're looking at a general thing here, the Gulf of Mexico, more critical for us than the Pacific in our monsoon flow pattern. So for us, that disruption is a really big deal.
Yeah, in a general sense, and I think Krista illustrated it very well. I mean, we do see impacts from both sources,
right,
for sure. But
yeah,
definitely, when we get the moisture in here, Mark, in the absence of those westerly winds, the moisture stays in place, and it's just a daily recycling that is often, you know, bolstered, you know, throughout the season. But yeah, once we get the moisture in here, that's the first step.
No doubt. All right, guys, let's talk prediction time on El Nino. Are we going to get it? And I guess I'll start with you, Chuck, because about a month ago on our air, you said this is going to happen. It's just a matter of when and how quickly. You're on board with this.
Yeah, absolutely. Our latest analysis indicates it is happening, and we think maybe even sooner than the Climate Prediction Center has indicated. Our big concern is the impacts. I think we'll get some beneficial impacts in terms of some moisture and coolness later this month. If it disrupts the monsoon and we see fire season reemerge in July and August, that's a problem.
And actually, it's kind of an interesting twist. If we end up with that type of situation, we can actually look at a worse, as far as the pattern goes this summer, we could be looking at a worse monsoon flow, but yet be benefited later in the year in the winter. So it could be one of those weird flip deals,
that's just it. I think the impact certainly of an El Nino is best seen during the cool season. So we're talking about fall and then into winter and even to early next spring. So that's definitely when we see the best shot.
And as far as the situation we're looking at now, you guys, weak, moderate, strong for El Nino as we wrap it up?
Moderate.
Moderate?
I'm going to have to say with Chuck, it could be definitely potentially see a moderate event.
Love it. Agree, gentlemen. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate staying up late. You guys holding down the fort on our 10 o'clock show. Niffing, we got them out of here. We got some weather nerds, as it should be for one day. Thank you very much for joining us. Of course, we'll continue to track all of this over the next couple of months, and we're your source for weather here at KRQE News 13. Thanks very much.